I didn't know how popular Huell Howser is.
Hi, I'm Huell Howser, and right now I'm riding high up over the beach here in Santa Cruz.
I used to think I was the only one who watched his videos.
Oh, this is amazing.
His attitude is infectious, and his shows are endlessly watchable.
We don't know where or what we're going to be getting into.
If you ever stumble on an episode of California's Gold, you can't turn it off. He's so likable. He was even on The Simpsons.
So let's take a close-up look at America's favorite drop, the gum drop.
Ooh.
Huell just had this way of like making the most mundane things seem interesting.
That was your history homie, Foo Howser. He's also a big fan of Huell.
My dad was like, Avi, come check this out. And I remember he would always call me over when Huell was on, and we'd just sit there and just watch. And my dad didn't understand half of what Huell was saying, but he was just there for the experience.
Foo Howser loves California, and he sees it like a huge backyard. A backyard he wants to highlight, which he does on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube.
And everywhere that I cover is somewhere that you can visit, right? Huell used to say that his show had two agendas. One was to show you the people that paint the Golden Gate Bridge, or this mine or this particular location. But the other part of his agenda was to get you to go explore your own backyard. California is this great big backyard of ours, and we should go out and explore it.
Foo's name is actually Javier Servin, but I love the name Foo Howser too much, so I'm gonna call him Foo Howser for this video.
Somebody in the comments, this dude's Foo Howser, and then that's when I was like, that's it, man, I gotta run with that.
Foo grew up in South LA, but spent most of his time in Huntington Park. He showed me around his old neighborhood, taking me to a few places that shaped who he is and his interest in history.
We're heading over to this really beautiful Art Deco building called the Lane Wells headquarters. It was an oil company, basically. Like the guys invented this new method of shooting bullets into wells that were thought to be dry. They were able to perforate and find pockets of oil that hadn't been discovered before. I really like the detail of like the columns in the front are like cascading down, almost like water. As a kid, I was always like wondering like what was this building. So it was kind of cool to finally figure out what the history of the building is,
Foo Howser actually knows his stuff.
So this building behind me was originally a Bank of America in the 1950s. And upstairs there was a place called Mendiola's Ballroom. And that was a place where they used to have dances, but it became infamous in the LA punk scene because there was a riot. This track right here is responsible for Huntington Park becoming the city that it became. One of the oldest buildings in the city that predates the city, and it's still standing there, so that's pretty cool. It was originally the Metropolitan Theater.
While Foo's videos aren't exactly like Huell's,
Look at this mud.
there's still something infectious about Foo's passion for history.
I avoid trying to imitate Huell, although once in a while that's amazing, or whatever will slip out of my mouth.
I can't help but think Huell would have loved spending time with Foo, just like I did, diving into the rich history of Huntington Park.
We call this area Southeast LA, right? A lot of those communities, their history is not told, but there's such a rich history in those cities and in those communities, and there's a lot of people that are proud to live in those cities and those communities. Kendrick's new song, Dodger Blue, he says, don't talk about LA when you don't travel past the 10.
It kind of felt like we were on an episode of Visiting, but with Foo Howser. I think Huell would like that show.
My hope is that people are inspired, that they enjoy the videos, and that inspires them to want to go out and, find the history of that old building that's in the corner, or get to the truth of that old abandoned house that everybody says is haunted, or, that kind of stuff. Because sometimes the truth is greater than fiction.
I feel like that what I'm doing is making a difference.
I wonder if Huell was still around. Would he be on TikTok?
I don't know if Huell would have liked TikTok. I don't know that he would be jumping on any trends or trending sounds, you know what I mean?